Journalism is storytelling to me. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. I love that every day is different. I never know what stories are going to break and how my day is going to unfold. And that's what makes this job so exciting.
I think it's not surprising that education is impacted by this pandemic, but I am shocked by these numbers. Am I going to start seeing ads on WhatsApp somewhere down the line? Is that what it is? You worked your way up through the ranks of a white supremacist group here in Canada. What exactly drew you in? This is The National. Good evening, I'm Ginella Massa. Ian is away. Tonight, a Texas jury is sending a message to conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. This will be a critical week in Canada's fight against COVID-19. Case counts have been climbing exponentially for days in this country. A suspected killer was shot dead today by Montreal police, but tonight that's little comfort to people who'd anxiously followed news of 3 random murders. Another Canadian is ready to shine as a lead character in the biggest comic book to screen franchise in the world. Good morning. It's Friday, October 9th. You're watching Breakfast Television. I'm Ginella Massa, filling in for Melanie Ng today. Happy to be here on this long weekend. Now, police tell us that it is still very early on in this investigation, and they are also appealing for witnesses. This was a very busy time. As you can see, lots of people milling about here at this intersection. It is just about to be rush hour, and that is where there was a bit of an altercation with police. Police tried to tussle him to the ground. There was an attempt to tase him, but that man managed to get away and then hopped into a Peel Police cruiser and took off.
It feels great.
You basically willed this into existence because you tweeted about this and you've given a lot of people inspiration to go after and speak into existence their dreams.
Absolutely. I mean, I know it's really funny that the tweet that I sent last year, but I really do believe that, finding success is about visualizing. It's about belief in yourself.
You thought about one day maybe being connected with your family. Did you ever imagine it would be like this?
No.
I know what it's like to be a first, to represent a community, to be a first and an only, and that can also be a lot of pressure to feel like you have to do right by them. How do you deal with that?
Well, being the first of anything is scary.
You're in a new country, you came to join your brother, and now suddenly he's gone. And what has the last year been like for you?
It was very difficult for us. Every place we go, we have their memories.
This is in Haiti?
Yep.
Michelle and his brother Jordan share much more than the experience of growing up black in a small town.
Met you at the orphanage with your house mothers.
They were both adopted from Haiti at a young age.
Michelle is about 5 weeks and Jordan is 14 months.
But they aren't biologically related. And Michelle knew little about the family who'd given him up, left only with this picture of his father and the sad story of his birth.
I remember when my parents had told me that the orphanage had let them know that my mother had passed away giving birth to me, and I always felt a little empty. It was tough. I tried to draw a picture of her, and I just couldn't do it.
For years, this was the only family Michelle had ever known. But that all changed in March of 2020.
I knew it was him because his facial features are very similar to mine.
Eloy Ferguson had spent the last 15 years looking for his baby brother. He lived almost a parallel life as him, growing up with white parents and adopted siblings in small-town Maine. Then a chance encounter led to something remarkable.
My dad, he knew a Haitian man who traveled from Haiti into the US. My dad gave him some information about me, my last name. Next thing you know, my cousins emailed my father, and my dad told me that I had family, and we connected. And
they didn't just connect. They told Eloy news he wasn't prepared for, that he was one of 6 brothers.
It was my sole mission to seek out these other siblings, to find them any way possible, because we had very minimal information. We didn't have much at all to go with.
But one by one, he did find them.
It was a lot going on. It was so much to process. But I knew that I had to meet them all and see what they look like, and I just was hungry to just see their experience.
a book of tributes dedicated to young leaders who were destined for greatness.
It's heartbreaking for all of us. They were working for the betterment of the communities.
Dr. Bijan Dasgabe remembers his cousin's children as highly accomplished students. Zainab Asadilari, a fierce advocate for mental health and an aspiring doctor. Her research published posthumously at 21.
At that point in time, I had this very deep passion for science.
Mohammed, an MD, PhD student, was also inspiring for his empathetic nature.
Mohammed Asadilari is being recognized for his leadership initiative.
The Canadian Medical Association posthumously awarding him for his exemplary leadership.
I have learned a lot from him. A passion that he had will always be with us. He is also one of the kindest and most gentle people I know.
This book, published by their family, a chance for reflection, to ponder what could have been.
He would have made a real difference in this world, and the world is poorer for losing him.
What were some of the things you heard?
Sometimes it was explicit, sometimes it was implicit, sometimes it was Muslims don't belong in this race, let alone this country. Very direct comment.
Ali ran for the Ontario Progressive Conservatives in 2011 and 2013. He says he never told the party or even his family about some of the vitriol he faced. He feared it would become a distraction from the issues he wanted to focus on.
It means that you run the risk of being defined as that candidate, and you may have incredible ideas when it comes to policy on education or healthcare or fiscal policy or whatever it is, but nobody ever listens to that.
After a deadly act of violence against a Muslim family in his hometown, Ali decided it was finally time to talk about what he'd experienced. While he says he expected some political opposition at the door, he didn't expect the racism to be so blatant.
I do know definitively that people said to me directly from their lips to my ears that they would not be voting for any Muslim candidate, myself included.
Ali didn't win, and he says he'd consider running again, but questions of safety come to mind.
The front window of my office was smashed in. There was one occasion where my tire was slashed, and that's a bit frightening.
Jenny Kwan has been in politics for nearly 30 years.
I'm so proud to be the first Chinese Canadian woman ever elected to the BC legislature.
Holding office at all three levels of government, but she's suffered personal insults for who she is along the way. Jenny's office is now equipped with panic buttons, and staff are directed never to be alone. Was there ever a point where it deterred you and you thought, I don't know if I want to have to deal with this?
It's just a bit of a shock to your system, always, every time. And then I thought, you know what? I am going to fight for this every step of the way, and people will not get to silence me, because if they make me go away, they win.
But getting in is no easy task for many candidates of color. Jenny credits her former colleagues for helping her get a foot in the door.
My mentor, the late Jim Green, chose not to run for the nomination in Vancouver, Mount Pleasant back in 1996 because he said, kiddo, I want you to run. Because sometimes we have to make space for people that don't look like me.
It's those kinds of moves more parties need to be willing to make, says Karen Bird, a political science professor at McMaster who studies representation in the electoral system.
It's not just about chasing the ethnic vote. Let's actually think about fairness and justice.
In Canada's history, since Confederation, we've only had 3 Black federal cabinet ministers.
Velma Morgan runs Operation Black Vote Canada. For almost 20 years, she's been trying to get more Black Canadians into politics.
Diversity is a nice, pretty picture, but inclusion means that I'm sitting at the decision-making table, and my voice is just as valuable and powerful as a person sitting beside me.
The honourable member for Nunavut.
Mr. Speaker, I have never felt safe or protected in my position, especially within the House of Commons.
In June, Inuk MP Momolak Kakak announced she was leaving politics, expressing frustration at the government's inaction on issues concerning her community. Former Liberal MP Selina Caesar-Chavan says she felt tokenized and silenced. And now independent Jody Wilson-Raybould says she won't be running for re-election, saying in a letter that Parliament has regressed, become more toxic, and marginalizes certain communities.
In the end, party discipline prevails in Canada.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. The National is next. We'll see you tomorrow.